Want to welcome everyone that is with us here at Charles Village Pub in Towson. I want to welcome everyone as well that is watching live with us on the Towson Sports Network. We are live tonight on TowsonTigers.com, and we have got a near capacity crowd here at Charles Village Pub. So I want to thank all of you. We've got staff, we've got coaches, we've got supporters of Towson Athletics, we've got season ticket holders and fans, and everyone has turned out tonight to make this what has been so far a very memorable 2015 signing day. And I know that we're looking forward to revealing the 18 football recruits and 11 women's soccer recruits that have officially signed their letters of intent and are the next class of Towson Tigers. So as we get ready for that, again, I want to thank everyone here at Charles Village Pub, and we want to thank Charles Village Pub for hosting this Signing Day Live event for another year. It was a great time last year, and already we've got a bigger crowd here in 2015, so we thank them for their hospitality. We also want to thank Coors Light and La Cakery for their donations to the event this evening. And something that is new in 2015, this is signing day, but in addition to revealing our signing classes, we will also be unveiling the 2015 football schedule. This is the earliest we've ever done it, so everyone here tonight, everyone watching online at home, will get to be the first to learn of the 2015 Towson football schedule. Also, tickets, season tickets for the upcoming football and basketball seasons go on sale tonight, and you can log on to TowsonTigers.com. Ticket prices will remain the same as they were during the 2014 season, and for more ticket information and to renew your season tickets if you're not a season ticket holder and you would like to become one, all of that is available on TowsonTigers.com. You can also go ahead and learn about the gift requirements for the Tiger Athletic Fund, and one gift to TAF is all that's required to be eligible for both tickets, parking, hospitality, and so much more. And you can learn about all that information again by logging on to TowsonTigers.com. And one more thing before we get started tonight, if you are here with us in Charles Village Pub, what you can do is you can tweet a picture of yourself watching our live signing day show. Tweet it to us at Towson Tigers with the hashtag SigningDayLiveCVP. We'll pick a winner. That winner will get 2 season tickets in 2015. So get those phones out, take some selfies, tweet them at us, and you could be looking at 2 2015 football season tickets. Now, I know that football gets a lot of the headlines. It is also National Signing Day for women's soccer. We've got a double-digit signing class for Greg Paynter and his women's soccer program. I want to welcome Greg up to the podium to talk about the incoming 2015 class for Towson women's soccer. Greg Paynter.
So, get our first selfie here. Okay, perfect.
All right, two season tickets. We'll split
them
one
right
each.
there.
Perfect.
Thanks,
all right. Greg, 10 or 11 for a football class would be kind of small, but for a soccer signing class, 11 is quite large. That's a big incoming class that that you and your staff are going to be looking forward to welcoming in 2015. Just tell us a little bit about the class overall.
Well, overall, I mean, we have a lot to fill. We had a lot of impactful seniors that are leaving our program, and so we don't have quite 11 leaving, but we have a lot of minutes to fill. And so a couple things, the big class is partly because of the administration's support to give us an extra assistant coach last year, and we have extra eyes out there, so we were able to comb through all up and down the East Coast to get players. But 11 is a lot, and we're really looking forward to them having an impact right away.
Well, looking at the success that you had in the 2014 season, as you start to think, I know the 2015 season feels like it's a long way away, but that third weekend in August comes quickly. How do you see this class being able to contribute to what you and the program were able to accomplish in 2014?
Well, I'm excited that all of them, I think, have the ability to come in and have an impact in that first weekend, and that's exciting. With the mix of the girls that we have in the program still, but everybody has to know that the hard work starts now. I sent out an email to all the girls that committed today that we're 6 months away from reporting for preseason, so we're just a little more than 6 months away from that opening game, and we'll be ready, and I hope that those girls are ready for the task.
Well, we're going to get to learn a little bit more about the 2015 Towson soccer signing class. Greg, I'm going to give you the mic, and we're going to go signee by signee and get to learn a little bit about this next group of Towson Tigers.
Thank you, Kevin. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight to CVP. And most importantly, I want to thank all the people behind the scenes that put on an event like this, but also to help us get together a class that's 11 people deep. Certainly our staff with the soccer and Mike Eckberg, our recruiting coordinator, but all of our assistant coaches, but everybody from professors and support staff on campus that meet with our student athletes and our prospective student athletes. It's very much appreciated, and all the way down to our student athletes, our current student athletes that host these girls, that are good ambassadors for our program, and really let them get a glimpse into what it's like to be a student athlete here at Towson. So if we're ready, we'll start off with one of our northern recruits, Alexis Tolles, out of Long Island, plays for the East Meadow ECNL club team. Very versatile defender. We'll probably see time in the middle of the field and out wide. Alexis Tolles. The other end of the spectrum, we have 3 Florida recruits. Amanda Hill out of the Tampa area, plays for the West Florida Flames, a very versatile player, has seen time with her club team as an attacking player and as also a defender, and we will look forward to her finding a niche within our program. Amanda Hill. Danielle Gardner, one of the first commits in this class, plays for the Real Lakeshore team out of New Jersey. Very tall, central defender, plays in the midfield or maybe as a center back. Very versatile, great ball winner. We're really looking forward to having her leadership and athleticism on the field. Danielle Gardner. Evelyn Niedert, we go back down south to the Orlando area. An attacking player, tremendously talented on the ball, great goal scorer from the Orlando City ECNL team. We're really excited about our program branching out into Florida, and I think a lot of that has contributed to the success that our basketball team and the football team have had over the last couple of years of really getting the Towson brand out there. But Evelyn Niedert will be a great addition to us. Katie Fullerton, not quite a local product, but pretty close. She's just up the road in Delaware, plays for the Delaware Rush. Very athletic, fast player, will be a great complement to the athleticism and speed that we have in our program right now. We'll get some time as a forward for our program. Katie Fullerton. Mackenzie McCall, this is our first Maryland player. Mackenzie comes to us from the Maryland Rush Coyotes, a very successful club team here in the state of Maryland. Very, very good attacking player. She's described as one of those players that you just don't want to have to play against. And I'm really happy that she's chosen to play with us. We'll see time as a central midfielder and as a forward. Mackenzie McCall. Megan Collins has a tall task as a goalkeeper to come in and help our goalkeeping core fill in for Aaron Quinn, who's graduating. Megan is a dual sport athlete up in Massachusetts, plays for the North Shore United club team. Megan Collins. Renee Gast, our second Maryland player, comes to us from the SAC program down in Columbia, Maryland. Another dual sport athlete, great athlete, good size, will really contribute out on the flanks for us, either as a defender or a midfielder. Renee Gast. Sam Lottie, probably the most athletic player coming in, a left-footed defender for the New Jersey Wildcats. She will contribute right away as a flank player on the left side with her speed and her strength as a left-footed player. Sam Lottie. Sarah Quick is our last Florida player, comes to us from the heralded IMG Academy. She is probably the most versatile player for us. As an attacking player, she's played defending as a defender for her club team. So we're really looking for Sarah to come in and continue to build what we have going on in our program. Sarah Quick. And lastly, we have a girl from Virginia, Xavier Lamott, plays for the FC Virginia ECNL team. Xavier will really contribute right away to help in our defensive core, center back, outside back for us. We're looking forward to her contributions as a versatile defender. Xavier Lamott. And that wraps up our 11-person deep signing class.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Greg Paynter, Towson Soccer. There's some names to keep an eye on right there as we look forward to 2015. We will be unveiling our class of football signees, all 18 of them, with highlight videos from their high school and, in some cases, college playing careers. We are going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll be back right here from Charles Village Pub in Towson and on TowsonTigers.com and the Towson Sports Network. 5-minute break. We'll be back shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Charles Village Pub here in Towson. Thank you to those of you that are joining us on TowsonTigers.com. I am Kevin Kopp, and I am thrilled to have the opportunity tonight. We got to meet the incoming signing class of Greg Paynter and Towson Women's Soccer, and now we get to talk about the incoming signing class for Towson football. We've got 18 signees. We're going to reveal each of them to you for the first time. You'll be able to see highlights of their playing careers. We have our entire Towson football coaching staff that is going to take you player by player. But first, before we get to that, we are going to welcome the head coach of your Towson Tigers, Coach Rob Ambrose. Rob, are we going to take a selfie and tweet it to Towson Tigers on Twitter, or are we just going to move past that?
Has anybody ever seen me take a selfie? Yes. Arnold, have a drink. Be quiet.
All right. You at home, if you're with us here at Charles Village Pub, tweet a picture of yourself watching our live signing day show. Tweet it to @Towson Tigers, and you could win a pair of season tickets. Later in the program, we are going to unveil for the first time the 2015 Towson schedule. But, Coach, we're here to talk about signing day, and this is just one day in a very long recruiting process for you and your staff. And this is a day where you get to see so many of those efforts culminate. And has it been an exciting day for you as coaches?
It's been an exciting day, but one of which we are well prepared for. It's not like we didn't know what was coming. And to say that it is me or to say it is the staff that got this done, it's well beyond that. I would like to say hi to everybody. Team Towson, how you doing? All right, first of all, there's no way. Look, this is CVP. We've all been here at some other time, and you've all been louder than you just were when you were in this building. So, Team Towson, how you doing? That's a little bit better. Now, there's a lot of thanks that go along with what we do. We have an athletic director and an interim president, Tim Leonard and Tim Chandler, that have seen the vision of what we need to do and have presented the resources that have allowed us to get that done. And that's where the team starts. Some of you guys were here at the press conference at the very beginning. I said that the team is bigger than the coaches and the players in the locker room. It is the alums. It is the professors. It is the janitors. It is everybody in between that has allowed this program to gain as much respect and success in the last few years as we've all imagined it could be. So from me and my staff, before we even talk about those guys, I want to thank you. There's going to be a lot of thanks that go along tonight. I'm not going to say them all, but Team Towson, you did this day. You did this. Thank you, CVP.
And so as we look forward now to welcoming this 2015 class into the fold, what do you think that their contributions can be as we look forward to the fall?
Well, I do a lot of these, and everybody says, do you like your recruiting class? Are you glad you got these guys? I'm still waiting for the one coach in America to stand up and go, man, they're terrible. We should have never recruited these guys. But each one of these kids has tremendous potential as an athlete, as a student, and as a person. And they were brought here to represent the institution. That while you see a lot of that signing day on national television and all the pomp and circumstance, each one of these kids, before they agreed to come here, were sat and listened to the discussion of how to be successful at the next level, which is walking the door being humble and hungry. And if you have that kind of attitude, you have a chance to be successful in the classroom and on the field faster. Each one of those kids get it. So I expect these guys, as opposed to some of the other guys that have been through the system, maybe this class plays a little sooner than some of the others just because they have that attitude coming in.
Well, Coach, it's been fun to sit in with you and your staff today and get to see some of these highlight videos. And now what the public is here for is to get to see these guys for the first time. I'll get out of your way. I'll let you turn the mic over to John Dahlquist. I know there's some more thank yous to be done, and then we're going to get to those recruiting videos.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, before we get to the guys that you want to see, they don't just show up here. They don't. There's a tremendous misconception of what college football coaches do. Pretty much, my media guy's still here. Pretty much based on the media, because that's always the truth. We don't just roll the ball out at 3 o'clock and blow a whistle and yell at kids, and then all of a sudden the game happens on the weekends. There's a lot that goes into this. I mentioned Tim Leonard and Tim Chandler. In this room, in this building right now is my director of admissions, Dave Fedorchik, who is the only director of admissions I have ever met who works coaches' hours. And that is impressive. Somebody please clap for that guy. I don't think they're here yet, but Dave Henshaw and Shira McVeigh at the Marriott down the street, everybody knows what great facility that is, but they are our recruiting headquarters, and I can't say thanks enough to them. I'm going to brag about our coaches in some aspect today, but before I get to them, they don't get to work here unless their wives say so. Yeah. And for those of you who think that being a coach's wife is a cool thing, you can talk to my wife and she'll go on a diatribe about how difficult it is. But from the aspect of when the season's over, everyone says to her every year, aren't you happy you're going to get your husband back yet? And she snorts and usually hits them and tells them that it gets worse because at least during football season I sleep in the same house. And then we are all gone for a couple months. So there are some coaches' wives in the room. Please, please give them a hand. Now we talk about the people to thank, and the coaches have done a tremendous amount of work, but these guys, so I can tell you what they truly do. In the aspect of recruiting, they are selling, but they are not selling Towson football. They are selling this institution, both its academic and its social qualities, the things that everybody in this room already knows is great. But they get on the road every day and pound the drum for our professors and their academic prowess. They pound the drum for our campus as a whole, what it looks like, because every single person that has come to this campus in the last 6 years comes on campus and goes, oh my God, I didn't know it was that nice. And 95% of them come back. These guys go out and sell this experience, and they do it tremendously well. They teach, they guide, and they mentor young 18 to 22-year-olds. Now, I want you to think about that. Teach, guide, educate, and mentor 18 to 22-year-olds, because that's the age when we all made all our best decisions. And these guys do it every day. They spend more time with our players than they do with our own kids. And for that, this university, and every player in that locker room thank them very much. So, well, I'm done all my thanks. They got some for themselves. The kids that we recruited, background on them, 7 states, 2 countries. Yes. Don't worry, our budget's not that big. 7 from the state of Maryland, 3 from New Jersey, 2 from Pennsylvania, 2 from Virginia, 1 from New York, 1 from South Carolina, 1 from the great state of Texas, and 1 from the land above the border, Canada. And someone knows him. As always, and this is pretty much for one guy in the room, Ed Mullen, there will be players to be named later. But per NCAA rules, this is all we can talk about tonight. Also for Mr. Mullen, Ed, in this group, there are 4 transfers. We have a quarterback, 2 offensive linemen, a defensive lineman, you could say 2 athletes, 4 linebackers, 2 safeties, 2 corners, and 4 wide receivers. So all of a sudden the media guys are writing really fast. The average GPA of this class is a 3.04. I guarantee you 98% of the people that you watched today on television for their National Signing Day didn't get anywhere near that number. And of these 18 young men, 15 of them were voted team captains by their peers and coaches. So we are bringing leadership and a GPA to this institution. Now, I'm going to stop talking, so you're going to clap really loud. But I made a guy get up here and talk tonight because he needs to. I'm the face of the program. That's part of the job. I get that. But this doesn't happen without some tremendous people, and we've talked about the coaches. But there is a guy, an amazing guy, whose title is Assistant Athletic Director for Football Administration. He is the answer behind the scenes all the time. He is the calming voice He is the brains. He is the person that everyone at the university wants to deal with instead of me because I don't have patience. He is one impressive soul. Let's give a big round of applause for Mr. John Dahlquist.
Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you, everyone. I am up here because my boss told me I had to be. I appreciate being one of the behind-the-scenes guys, but it was an absolute pleasure this year to, again, meet this recruiting class, their parents as they came through on the recruiting weekends. Really just some great kids that our guys will touch on very shortly here. But to begin these thank yous, there's so many people that I need to contact on these weekends that help us out to help show off Team Towson and everything we have here. So the first couple I'd like to thank is our facility staff I work with on a daily basis, Steve Zamias, Pat Donnelly, especially for helping us out with the weekends every Friday. Just truly a pleasure to work with them. Secondarily is our sponsor, Under Armour. Sean Sullivan, Gary Powers, and all those folks down there do a great job taking care of our staff, taking care of our players, using us with their wear test program. Just a true benefit to have them 9 miles away. So everything they did for us in this class, we greatly appreciate. I would like to just look forward and congratulate our guys on pulling these guys in and sharing this dream that we still have here with them. We're not finished yet, but to my pleasure, I will introduce Rob Ambrose, our offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach.
Good evening, everybody. Like John did, before we get started on the meat and potatoes of this thing, what everyone came out here to see, our recruiting class, I as well would like to give thanks to some of the people that help us. When we start our recruiting visits, it's not just us coaches trying to, deliver our brand to these young men and, explain to them why Towson's the best option for them moving into their college lives. It takes a lot of people and a lot of efforts. And two of those people specifically come from the academic end of the institution. Dr. Playman Peeve, he's in our business marketing department, and Dr. Matthew Durrington, who's in our great criminal justice department. They do a great job coming over, crossing the aisle, so to speak, and, representing the academic end of the institution for us on our visit. So without them, we would not be able to continue to nationalize the brand that is Towson and continue this journey that we all take together. So without further ado, I'm going to start with two of our recruits for this 2015 signing class. First is Kevin Olson. Kevin's from Wayne Hills, New Jersey. He joins us on the team with two other players from Wayne Hills, New Jersey, Jake Shunke and Brian Dowling. Kevin was a 4-year starter for his father, Chris Olson. Coming out of high school, he's a 4-star recruit. He was rated the number 4 overall quarterback in the country coming out of high school. So, watching this film, he played down at the U. This is a little bit of a spring tape. He's tremendously accurate. He always throws from a great platform. He doesn't have a Jamarcus Russell arm, but he has a very, very strong arm, great touch. He can throw an up and down ball. He's got very active eyes and feet in the pocket. And, he's a tremendous player. Got a great aptitude for the game mentally. And we're really, really excited to have him. Kevin also was voted a captain. He was one of the guys when he was in high school. So, he's going to bring a certain amount of leadership to the quarterback position and obviously a lot of talent. So that's Kevin Olson. Next is Richie Anderson. Richie comes to us from Penn State. He's the son of the NFL player Richie Anderson, Sr., played fullback for the Cowboys and the Jets. Richie was a 3-star recruit coming out of Thomas Johnson High School in Frederick, Maryland. He also shares the roster now with 2 players from the same high school in Heath Dahlgren and Brandon Burney. Richie, like I said earlier, was a 3-star recruit, had offers from just about everybody in the ACC, and chose to go to Penn State with Bill O'Brien. He played as a true freshman, caught 11 balls for about 120 yards, and helped them go 6-6 in the Big Ten when nobody thought they were going to win a game. He's got tremendous turnover, good body control. He's more physical than his stature would allow you to believe. He's got good ball skills, and he definitely is a playmaker, and we're really, really excited to add him to our roster and see what he can bring to the Tigers. And that's Richie Anderson. Now I'd like to introduce our longtime offensive line coach and pillar of this program, John Donatelli.
Thank you, Coach Jammer. Hello, Tiger Nation. How are we? You know, I'm really excited this evening to introduce the two newest members of our Towson O-line unit. But before I do that, I want to take this opportunity to express our sincere thanks to two unsung heroes in our program and two team members that without their participation, our recruiting process would not be what it is. And these two gentlemen go above and beyond their efforts in making our dining experience during our official visits amazing. And I'd like to thank Mr. Dave Towson of the West Village Commons. And I'd also like to thank Mr. Jair Cavagnoli, who does an amazing job for us down at Fogo de Chao. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce the two newest members of the Towson Tiger O-line unit. Both of these young men are cut out of the same mold. They're both interior players. They're both very powerful and very intelligent young men. And more than that, they're more than able and willing to take on the responsibilities and tradition that come with being a Towson Tiger O-lineman. Kobe Rose is a 6-foot, 285-pound young man from Islip High School out of Long Island. Kobe was a team captain. He was all state, all metro, all conference, all county, all Long Island, and a member of the 2014 18U U.S. national team. Our next young man, Nick Carnesale, 6'1", 275 pounds out of Hamilton High School in New Jersey. Another passionate, powerful young man. I just call these two guys people movers. Nick also was a team captain. He was all state, all conference, and a Brooks Irvine scholar athlete. An interesting side note about Nick, his senior season was cut short to only about 3 games, yet still made All-State. Pretty impressive. So I couldn't be more excited to welcome these two young men to our Tiger family. And speaking of great Tiger O linemen, it is my extreme pleasure to introduce really the face of Towson itself and the defunct mayor, Coach Konstantinos Kosmakos.
Well, thank you very much for that very nice introduction. My former O-line coach, Coach Donatelli, when I was here playing for him about 12 years ago. So before I get started, again, a couple people I want to introduce and thank from the bottom of our hearts. We have a very special time. We get to hang out with these people, the professors from the academic side of campus, during lunch, during our official visits. They really have a good time to really introduce specific majors to our recruits, really get them acclimated to their academic achievement, what they're going to expect when they get here at Towson. First, I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Manassi from the Criminal Justice Department and Dr. Jed Weldon from the Bio Department, who's also a faculty fellow specifically for football. So again, from us, thank you very much for the program. When I get started, I want to introduce our defensive lineman, Quinn Cox. All right, he comes from us from Arlington, Virginia at Yorktown High School. Okay, Quinn's about 6'1", 275. All right, I'm sorry, 6'3", 265 it has up there. I apologize, reading the wrong notes, huh? Okay, Quinn, very productive senior season. Very productive senior season. Played Mike linebacker as a junior. Coach said it was better, put his hand in the dirt, and for us it was a lot better when you watch his film. Very fast off the ball, very explosive, great hips, great explosion, a knack for getting the quarterbacks. Quinn had 100 tackles, 36 TFLs, 17 and a half sacks in a high school season. Pretty impressive for a young man to do. From an interior, you see him from inside technique as a nose to a 3-tech to a 4-tech alignment. Very versatile alignment. Welcome to the family, Quinn Cox. I'd like to introduce now our recruiting coordinator and our tight ends and fullbacks coach, man of 4 children, West Point's favorite, Reno Ferre.
Thank you, Gus. Before we get started, there's a group of people that we've got to thank as a staff. When we bring guys in for official visits, they typically happen from Thursday to Saturday. Friday is a huge tour day where literally the prospects come to campus and they walk in every building and they shake every hand that will be part of their development at Towson. The first people we do introduce them to is our academic support team, Justin Harris, Aaron Mandel, and Jeff Gordon. And essentially the first briefing they have is they sit down and they learn the academic plan, essentially how they're going to be developed off the field, having to do with class, whether that be with tutoring, study table, but essentially we set out the plan, and this has become, in many cases, a driver in terms of the prospect's decision. So I wanted to thank you three. I think Justin's here. Thank you so much for helping us with this recruiting class. But moving on, okay? Looking at two very good prospects here. The first guy I'd like to introduce you to is Brent Richardson. Brent is from Glenelg High School, where he's coached by Butch Schaefer over in Howard County. Brent he's listed there as 6 foot 180. He's probably closer to 6'1". We're bringing Brent in as an athlete. He played a lot of wide receiver as a junior and played out of necessity. Butch Schaefer does a great job organizing his team and really putting them in position to win. He realized quickly that he didn't have anybody to throw the ball to Brent this year, so it would be easier to snap the ball to him. So he became a wildcat quarterback. But Brent could be a wideout or a free safety most likely for us. If you could roll the tape. But Brent ended up having 1,200 yards rushing and 22 touchdowns this year. You could see him there in the wildcat position. Brent is a 3.7 student. He was actually on the honor roll every semester, every grading period of his high school career, and he plans to major in business. Also a state qualifier and a high jump. But Brent can play. You can see there he shows some instincts both on offense and defense. And so, we're extremely excited about his potential in the future. He actually, we had a traveling camp at the Bullis School down in Montgomery County. He came and performed well for Coach Moisenko at the wide receiver position. Next, we have DeAndre Wallace. DeAndre is all of 5'11", 237. He's a big son of a gun. DeAndre's a tough kid from Arundel Senior High School down in Anne Arundel County. He plays for Coach Chuck Markowitz, who's become a great friend of mine over the last 4 years. And Chuck's a Hall of Fame coach. But DeAndre's a team captain. He led his team in tackles, and they're a team that's always in the playoffs, always winning the county title in both 12, 13, and 14 as a sophomore, junior, and senior, led his team in tackles. But if you could roll the tape. DeAndre also doubles as a short yardage back. I don't think there's any clips of him doing that here, but he had 18 touchdowns. I could see him doing something like that for us in the future. More than likely as a blocker, I think he'd be an All-American fullback. And the thing I love about him, he's a football junkie. When I call him on the phone, he's drawing up blitzes. When he'll call me from the gym. Anything he could do to improve his craft, he does. He was recently selected to the Big 33 team as well, and he played in the BTC All-Star game. We challenged DeAndre to do a better job academically this past semester, and he came through with a 3.5 and a much improved SAT score. And this may not go over well here, but he's going to join me as one of the few people in town that are Steelers fans. I'll be followed by Coach Dasson Blackwell, our running back coach and Towson alum.
Thank you very much. With anything that goes on with any success, you always have to thank the individuals that are behind the scenes that you don't really see, you don't really hear about too much. The two individuals that I want to basically recognize is Tom and Tony at Bill Bateman's. Okay, everybody here at one point has eaten at Bill Bateman's. Bill Bateman's is a staple of the Towson community. And what I mean by that is Bill Bateman's is a place where as an undergrad, you went there and you watched March Madness. You went there and you had wings after a football game. You went there after a basketball game. You went there after a lacrosse game. And as far as us coaches having food to eat throughout the week and gaining 20 to 25 pounds, thank you, Bill Bateman's, for the wings. So to Tom and Tony, I want to thank you very much. The other individual that I definitely want to thank, that behind the wins, behind the losses, you do not hear from, you do not see, is our good friend, Stephen Stein, lovingly known as Stein, you got to understand something now. Coaching is hard, but when you have to cut up film, when you have to make sure you have the film, you have to make sure it's correct, and you got to field calls at 1 in the morning because the film isn't correct, and you got to answer it, and you got to come in. That's something that Stein does on a consistent basis, and we just want you to know, Stein, that we appreciate everything that you have done, and I know you got thrown into the fire, but you know the way Towson goes, you got to jump in with both feet, and you got to get running. You got to go right now. All right. Thank you very much, Tom, Tony, and Steven Stein. Individual I want to talk to you about today is Chris Tedder. He is from Richmond, Virginia, a place after my own heart. It's where my mother's from. He plays for Stuart Brown at Verona High School, the Blue Devils. Chris Tedder, I want to make sure I read his stat line right as a senior. He had 92 tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, played in the Big River Rivalry, which is a Richmond All-Star game, 2-time first-team All-Conference, junior and senior. He is a 2-time captain, 2-time starter, and the recipient of the U.S. Army Leadership Award. Chris Tedder is 6'2", 208. Whenever you're ready, we can roll this. Chris Tedder is what I like to call a silent assassin. Chris Tedder loves to play football. Chris Tedder actually loves the blitz, but Chris Tedder will not say a word. In meeting this young man, he is a man of very few words, but as you see, when he's on the football field, he is a different individual. In the aspect of what we do on defense, as far as speed, as far as aggression, as far as being the athlete that we need, Chris Tedder is going to come in and join our family on defense very, very well. He's going to be an asset to Coach Hack and his defensive staff in adding versatility, adding speed, and adding that tenacity that Towson defense is all about, that we've all known to grow and love, that has brought us success in the recent years. And actually, Chris Tedder might end up being, one of the better linebackers that has been here. And ladies and gentlemen, we need to welcome Chris Tedder. But right now, I'm going to introduce you to the man that coaches our defense, our defensive coordinator, Matt Hackman.
Thank you. I want to take a moment before I begin introducing some of our recruits and continue thanking some of the people who are part of the team that have helped us bring this class in. We had 2 outstanding professors from sports management this year working in the kinesiology department that helped us out on our recruiting weekends, did a great job educating these young men on what being a student here is all about. I'd like to thank Dr. Ryan King-White and Dr. Jamie DeLuca for being a part of what we were trying to do. They deserve a big thanks in trying to get this done. The next group I want to introduce is a great group of guys. They help us keep us looking good with all their gear. They make sure the entire team has what they need. And really, they're the big show on the recruiting weekend because they get to put all the gear out, all the Under Armour stuff, everything that we use, and the kids just absolutely love it. So I'd like to make sure that we all thank Mike Shapley and Joel Tolbert for being the great guys that they are. Let's get a round of applause over that. But these people are outstanding team members that really help push this program forward. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce, I'm going to start off with D'Angelo Nyler. Now, D'Angelo Nyler started his high school career at Wise High School. They were state champs, I believe it was in 2013. In his senior year, he amassed 93 tackles, 11 sacks, and 2 interceptions. He was all conference, all county, and second team all Met. He then went on to go to ASA Junior College, and in 2014 he led his team to a 6-2 record, but in 2013 they compiled a 9-1 record, and they played in the Carrier Dome Bowl and had a victory over College of DuPage. So if we can go ahead and roll the film, we'll take a look at D'Angelo. D'Angelo is going to be playing outside linebacker for us. He's got an excellent skill set. He is long. He is fast. He is physical. He's explosive. We'd be able to put D'Angelo into coverage over a receiver. We'll also be able to blitz him off the edge and be able to get to the quarterback. Our next recruit that I'd like to introduce hails from Canada. He is from Brampton, Ontario. He has spent the last 3 years going to John Carroll School in Bel Air, Maryland. His name is Malik Tyne. He is 6'2", 225. This is his first year playing football. He was a basketball player. He still is a basketball player at John Carroll. And the basketball team currently is 24-4. I believe they're ranked 6th in the state. His basketball stats, he averages 13 points a game and close to 9 boards. But in his first year of football, he was able to amass almost 400 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns, and that's barely learning how to play the game. So let's take a peek at Malik. Again, this is Malik's first year of playing football. As you watch this film, you can see the explosion. You can see the speed. Like I said, Malik is 6'2", 225 pounds, and he might be one of our faster recruits. He might be one of our stronger recruits, and he might be one of our more explosive recruits. He plays for Coach Keith Rawlings at John Carroll School in Bel Air, Maryland, and he's currently carrying a 3.2 GPA. He had great clips on both offense and defense. We think he's going to fit in well for what we're going to ask him to do. The last young man I'd like to introduce is Shane Simpson. Now, Shane is coming in as a running back. He's going to be used all over the place on offense. He is extremely fast, very explosive, but some of the best qualities are yet to come. I'll explain them in a minute. Shane goes to Easton High School in Easton, Pennsylvania in the Lehigh Valley. He plays for Coach Steve Schiffert, who's been doing it up there forever. In 2014, Shane rushed for 2,124 yards. He had over 300 receiving yards and 41 touchdowns. Okay? For a career, Shane had 4,780 rushing yards, over 1,500 receiving yards, and 85 touchdowns. I'll say that again, 85 touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns. So let's take a look at some of his clips on tape. Some of Shane's accolades: he was all conference, all league, first team all state. He was the Express Times and Morning Call, those are newspapers, player of the year in the Lehigh Valley. He was selected to play in the Big 33 game. He was elected by his peers as a captain. He is currently on the honor roll. And this year he broke 2 prominent records at least. 2 of them I'll mention here. He's Easton High School's all-time leading rusher, which is tough to do there because there's a lot of great players that go through that school. And he's also their all-time leader in touchdowns. The other great thing about Shane, which you don't see on this film right now, Shane is an excellent punt returner and an excellent kick returner, so I know he'll help out our special teams game. It's now my pleasure to introduce our outside linebacker coach and everybody's favorite football coach at Towson, John Schwartz.
The last part was obviously a lie. Before I introduce our safeties for this class, I'd like to thank 2 people that really help us do our job as recruiters and get around, as well as filling us up. So first I'm going to thank Enterprise, who hooks up a bunch of our coaches when we go out on the road, allows us to hit all these schools and go all the houses and really get face-to-face time with all these recruits. I'd also like to thank Johnny Cosmakos and Paisans, who feed us every Monday night when we hold our annual recruiting meetings to make sure that, you know, we're getting enough energy, enough food to stay up and awake for these 2-hour somewhat meetings. But going through here, we have Trey Lee as our first safety. Comes from Thomas Stone High School in Southern Maryland. The thing I like about Trey is that he comes from an athletic family. His father played in the Big 33 game, won a state championship at Lackey, played baseball at Troy. Trey's a great football player all around. He played safety and quarterback for his team. He led them to a conference and region championship. He was named first-team defensive back and second-team quarterback in his conference. You'll see here when we roll the tapes, he's a phenomenal football player. His teammate is going to the University of Georgia as a highly touted defensive back, but Trey was voted conference and county MVP. So you'll see right here, this is an all-star game, PG Smack all-star game. He gets an interception, playing in the middle of the field. Trey also played in the crab ball and tried out for the Big 33 game as well. On this next clip coming up, after he gets tackled here, you'll see Trey pick off Brandon Battle, who's a quarterback at North Point High School, who's going to William & Mary. So this, we're already used to having success picking off a William & Mary quarterback, and that is to end the game and to win them the SMAC Conference Championship at the end of the season. So there's obviously a big play. And everybody knows that a safety has to go and tackle. You can see Trey coming in here and sticking his face in the action, forcing a fumble, not afraid to get a little dirty. So we're excited to get Trey on campus. Next up is Isaiah Ross. He's a safety from Piscataway, New Jersey. And Isaiah had a phenomenal career. He had 6 interceptions, 5 pass breakups, and 82 tackles this past season. And you'll see rolling the clips that he's a great football player. You'll see his first couple clips. He has great ball skills. He attacks the ball in the air and is not afraid to go up and get it and go contest wide receivers to get the football, and possesses decent return skills and advancing the ball, getting our offense better field position after the turnover. Like I said before, he's a well-rounded individual, and those are the kind of guys that we like here at Towson, not just football players, but great people. He's very involved in the community. He worked several food drives. He volunteered to work with autistic children after school, and he also aided in Hurricane Sandy relief efforts after it devastated the northeast part of the United States. Isaiah also played a little bit of wide receiver for his team, where he gets his ball skills. And we're excited to get him up on campus. He was one of our later recruits to sign. We're excited to get him here. You see he does a good job here breaking on the ball, getting the ball a little bit down the field. And then this last clip, like I said, everybody knows that safeties have to be physical. They're going to have to tackle. So he's going to have to come downhill and strike people, knock them back. So we're really excited about our safety prospects. But everybody knows at Towson, we have the best corners that you can imagine in 1AA football. So it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our defensive backs coach, who for the past 3 seasons has coached an All-American corner and also has a corner, Ty Smith, going to the NFL Combine this year. From PG County, Maryland, Derek Johnson.
Well, thanks a lot, John Sports, for taking my Ty Smith going to the NFL Combine deal, but I appreciate it. Before I get started, I want to thank a couple of people. I'm going to introduce the corners, obviously. But first, being in the location that we're in the greater Baltimore area, we're very fortunate to be able to be by major professional teams and to have a sports medicine, sports performance, be able to access those companies, those programs. Our team doctors, the Med Sports, we want to thank them. All right, so I want to send a special thanks out to Dr. Lou Vax, Dr. Richard Levine, and also Dr. Kerry Kinsey, because Med Sports Star is definitely, they do a great job working with the Washington Redskins, the Nationals, the Ravens, the Wizards, and the Capitals. Also would like to send a special thanks out to Christine Turpin. She's a team dietitian. She also is the owner of Nourish to Perform. So we also want to send a special thanks out to her. And also want to send a special thanks out to Nathan Wilder. We do a great job with the recruits on the recruiting weekends, being able to use the accessibility to those things that we're close by. So talking about the prospects, the first prospect is Justice Pettis Dixon. He's from St. Francis Academy in Baltimore. He's 5'10", 177 pounds, right from Columbia, Maryland. He's ranked as the 34th best recruit in the state of Maryland. He's also, according to Rivals, one of the top 100 players in his position, and he also played outside linebacker and cornerback in high school. So we'll start the tape. One of the things I liked about Justice is Justice has great size. He's a physical corner. He has great ball skills, and he's very athletic. When we saw him live, he has great upside. He can go up and get the ball at the highest point. When you come from a program like St. Francis, Coach Messiah does a great job with those guys. You know, when you get a guy from St. Francis, you're going to get a guy that's physical. You're going to get a guy that's willing to compete. You see right there, he played a little bit of outside backer or nickel. So for us, you see him being able to do multiple things. He'll be able to play the nickel position. He could play field corner, boundary corner. The field corner is the guy who he plays in space. He's got to be able to make a lot of plays, cover a lot of ground. The boundary corner is a physical guy that, you know, he got to be able to stop the run and also be able to cover one-on-one in the boundary. The next guy is Lyrics Clue. Lyrics Clue is 5'10", 173 pounds from Burns, South Carolina. Burns is one of the top programs in the country. It's a powerful program. They play nationally on ESPN. They're a nationally ranked program. So you can roll the tape. So when you see Lyrics, the thing you liked about Lyrics is you always think speed, speed, speed. Lyrics is extremely fast. If you watch the first 5 minutes of his highlight film, you see a bunch of returns for touchdowns. But you see right here, you see his ball skills and his athleticism. Him being able to go make the plays on the ball at the highest point. For Burns, he play a little bit of safety just to keep him around the football. But for us, he'll play corner because he has the speed and athleticism to be able to make those big-time plays that we need. You see him as a returner. You want to kind of call him the young Devin Hester, because every time he gets the hands on the ball, he had 10 returns for touchdown. Every time he gets his hands on a kickoff return, it's a good chance he's going to go back to the house. Graduating 2 All-Americans and a guy who is having an opportunity in the NFL. There's going to be big shoes to fill, but you feel like with Justice Pettis-Dixon and Lyrics Clue, you actually have 2 good guys that in the future they'll be able to fill those shoes and be possibly All-Americans in their own right. So again, here you see the speed and you see the return ability by Lyrics Clue. So I get to introduce, so when you think receivers, you like to think of Chad Ochocinco. I would like to introduce Mike Moisinko Ochocinco.
Good evening, everyone. Before I introduce our final 3 prospects of the night, known as the Playmakers, there are 3 faculty members that I'd love to give special thanks to, guys that do a lot for us in the recruiting process. First is Dr. Jeff Monroe, who is a chairperson and associate professor in the psychology department. Katie Wardeman, who is an academic advisor in the business department. And Dr. David Vokey, who is a professor in our education department. All 3 of them, like Coach Hack, Coach Gus, and Coach Jared said, took their time to come out and spend a lot of time with our student athletes. And in many cases, those meetings, those lunch meetings, help seal the deal, not only for the kids, but for the parents. So we want to give a very great thanks to them from our family here. The first wide receiver that we're going to talk about tonight is a young man, Christian Summers, that comes from Valley Forge Military Academy. Not only did he earn the respect of his teammates and get named a captain, but at his time at Valley Forge, he's also earned the rank of a sergeant, and he is in charge of a platoon of up to 20 men at a time. Throughout his career, he had 98 catches, 1,854 yards, and 20 TDs, and that's kind of skewed, because for the last 7 games of this season, he played quarterback. All of their quarterbacks got knocked out, and they went to the best athlete on the team, which is Christian. If we can roll the film, we can take a peek at him. He is every bit of 6'2", 215 pounds. He's going to bring a big physical dynamic that we were really looking to get into this class. Even with the size and strength that he has the ability to run past everybody and still has the agility to make people miss. Christian's going to be a big asset to us in the jump ball vertical game. Here's an awesome clip of him going up and getting the ball. I don't know if he comes down with it, but that's impressive enough. Again, being able to go up, high point the ball over everybody else, and we still haven't seen him been tackled yet. And this might be his best clip. Physical, agility, and strength to finish. We're really excited about Christian. Our next receiver is Jay Galloway. Jay comes to us from Rockwall High School in Dallas, Texas, kind of on the east side of Dallas. Not only did Jay lead his team to an undefeated regular season and a deep playoff run, Jay is a highly competitive basketball player, and he is a high jump finalist in the state of Texas. One of the most interesting things about Jay is his passion for business, and in school, in which he carries a 3.5 GPA. As we roll the film, we're going to see Jay. I can read you a stat. He only had 31 catches for 730 yards and 10 TDs. That's 21.5 yards a catch. So these clips here, you're going to see incredibly disciplined routes. You're going to see Jay has the speed to get behind people. He can track a ball in the air, catch it clean, pick up speed, and never get caught from behind. Those are all incredibly exciting things to see from Jay. Being from a 6A school in Texas, Jay's used to playing in big games, big competitive games. And again, he was on an undefeated team that made a deep run into the playoffs. This is a great clip. The body control on the sidelines and the ability to stop and start and finish a play. Our final receiver is Keon Pay. Keon Pay plays for Bob Malloy at Good Counsel High School in Olney, Maryland. I'm going to have to steal a line from Coach Jared Ambrose here. He always says, when you recruit a school like Good Counsel, a school that's I think they had 7 Division I players today, you always want to recruit the guy that's returning kicks. That's the guy those are the instances where you know that guy's going to touch the ball, so you want to put it in your best athlete's hands, and that's the guy Keon is for Coach Malloy. We can roll the tape. This year, Keon had 64 catches for 893 yards and 10 TDs. He's incredibly explosive. He might have been the most explosive kid we evaluated in our camp circuits. And it's stuff like this, the second gear that he has running away from Calvert Hall, who's got a bunch of D1 players in the finish, makes Keon really special. I'm never one to talk down about another program, but the corner Keon's running by right here is a Notre Dame commit. Can't catch him. Our guy scores. Here's a good clip of Keon being able to change direction and then again kick it into second gear. A very smooth, powerful athlete. Pulling away. All right, that's it for all of our current signees. I'm going to hand the mic back to Coach Ambrose. Thank you, everybody.
Having fun yet? The equipment guys just showed up. So they're always late. I need to give him the mic back or he'll get mad at me.
I'll make it quick. One more surprise for everyone that has been joining us tonight on TowsonTigers.com. For everyone here with us in Charles Village Pub, we have now revealed 18 new signees to this team, new Towson Tigers. But for the first time ever on signing day, we are going to reveal the entire 2015 schedule. Let's put it up on the board. There it is. That is the 2015 schedule. You've got 6 terrific home games, a couple of tough road contest coaches. You're looking at this schedule and starting to think ahead to 2015. What stands out to you about the challenge that we're seeing here up on the board?
We're going to win.
There you go. What more do you need than that?
How many times have you ever heard me say that? I'll say all the right things all the right times. We went through a year that was not pleasing. Anybody want to disagree with that? It was not pleasing. And interestingly enough, there are people that are upset. I've actually heard people that call and say that they should fire me because we didn't win last year. Go to the national championship one year, don't win enough games the next year, fire the head coach. I get that. That's awesome. Everyone's like, can you handle that? I'm like, I love it. Like, well, that just describes how insane I am. The point is, people now expect to win. And that is the way it should be. That is the way it should stay. And as long as I'm drawing breath in the head coach of this program, that is the expectation, that we will win. I don't care who you line up in front of us. That is what we will do. So when you look at this schedule, you best buy your tickets now. I said this a long time ago. You can either join us in the beginning, or you can pretend like you've been on the bandwagon forever. Last year was a hiccup. Next year, well, let's just say we're not done yet.
Everyone that's with us here in Charles Village Pub, I want to ask you to stick around. We're going to have the results of our raffle. But right now, Coach Ambrose, we have some assembled members of the media here. Coach Ambrose is going to take their questions, and I think this will be of great benefit and interest. I don't know what more there is to say after that last answer, but we'll open up the floor for questions from our media in attendance.
All right, you guys are never loud enough, and I'm always really loud. So if I can do this without disconnecting. Yes, Stan, I know you can do this. Matty got here first, so he gets to go first.
How many of the players that you recruited will be here in the spring for the spring practice?
How many of these guys will be here in spring practice? Kevin Olson is already enrolled in classes. Richie Anderson is already enrolled in classes. And that's it. And these guys? Yeah, that's it. Simon, not going to say your last name.
Gotcha. Coach, when did Kevin Olson land on your radar, and what was the recruiting process like given the season you had last year?
The question was, when did Kevin Olson land on my radar, and how did the recruiting process go? Kevin Olson's been on the radar since he was a sophomore in high school. We recruited a young man named Jake Shunke, who plays offensive line for us. Went to the same high school, Brian Dowling, same high school. I got a chance to see Kevin Olson's high school film, when he was a sophomore. I'm a quarterback guy, and I said, actually my brother was with me at the time. I said his film as a sophomore is the best quarterback high school film I have seen in 15 years, and he was not yet 16 years old. He and I had a good conversation along with his father. I knew about Miami and why. He's got a pretty famous brother that played in the Pro Bowl who went to Miami, and let's just say that wasn't nearly as good of a fit as what Kevin has found Towson to be for him. And the family's in, the kid is in, and we're lucky to have him.
I can be loud enough. Well, here we go. Let me get a little closer. Rob, first of all, with all due respect to the other 17 recruits, there's a lot of interest in Kevin Olson. Were any promises necessary regarding playing time to get a transfer of that caliber? Can we expect that he's like going to walk in and immediately be your number one quarterback?
Stan, that's a great question. Everybody hear that? Because my answer is going to be probably as important as the question. Stan asked, were any promises made to Kevin Olson being the what'd you say, Jared, 4? Top 10 quarterbacks in the country coming out of high school. Now, let that sink in for a second. That's got nothing to do with ratings or anything. This kid's a heck of a football player. And the number 4 quarterback in the entire country has decided to continue his career playing football here. And the question being asked is, did I make any promises about playing time? Okay, there's a bunch of people in the room that know me very, very well and have already answered the question. There's media, so I'm not going to use any expletives. The answer would be no. A resounding, microphone-laden, huge bullhorn no. Actually, the number 4 quarterback in the country had to convince us to take him. Now, the promises that have been made have been on his behalf to make sure that he represents our institution extremely well. We have great, deep respect for his family, for he is a player, and all he needed and wanted was an opportunity. The good news is that we have some quarterbacks in the stable, pretty great ones. And I'll put one out there now. I'd say that there's a very high percentage, and Vegas is going to get a hold of this, there's a very high percentage that we will play 3 quarterbacks next year in a game. Yeah, nothing like playing poker with a guy that he's got cards up his sleeve 7 months prior. Good question, Stan.
Usually you have some good recruiting stories, so if you can share them with us. Also, which recruits did you have to beat out? Some FBS programs to beat out or to get?
Good recruiting stories. Most of the good recruiting stories cannot be told in open public. It's just that's the honest to God truth. So the best stories will be that there is a large percentage, and off the top of my head, and I'm pretty good, I'm pretty accurate. I can close my eyes and play darts and get close to the bullseye. Close to 50% of these guys had 1A offers. As a matter of fact, there's one individual that I can guarantee when he said he wanted to come to school here, that's like walking in the room, everybody's loud, and the record goes, and everybody stops. If you had a look at the offers that this kid had, that he picked up, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, AAC, and let's not even mess around with the MAC and Conference USA, that half of this class had 1A offers and decided that the collegiate experience at Towson University was better than anything else they could find anywhere. And if that's not the kind of guy you want in your house, I don't know what is.
When news broke that Justice Pettis-Dixon decommitted from UConn, how quickly did you guys hop on that, and what was the process like getting him here?
So the question is, when did Justice Pettis-Dixon decommitted from UConn? Not like that was personal. How quick did I hop on it? Simon. Why do you think Justice Pettis-Dixon decommitted from UConn? Oh no! Turn around. Look at it. Look at the logo on the helmet. Look at the location. He was committed to us before he decommitted to them. I got to give Reno Free and Derek Johnson a lot of credit because they spent in-house time with that family. But that is a young man from the state of Maryland, from the city, goes to school in the city of Baltimore, that has decided that representing his home turf is much more important. Having a great education that where you care about the individual and treat him like a family member is more important than big fluff and pomp and circumstance signing days. That is a real kid with real talent, comes from a real family, and is a tremendous addition to the black and gold. We didn't get on him after he decommitted. Everybody else in the country did, and he told him, no, I found my home. I found my family. TU-15.
Rob, this running back from Easton, the most famous guy from Easton was Larry Holmes, the Easton assassin, but this guy, 5'9", and as the running backs coach talked about it, 4,780 rushing yards, 1,500 passing yards, 85 touchdowns. How good can he be at this level?
Statistically, there aren't many guys that are going to put up better numbers than him in any state, anywhere in the country. Every one of these kids is brought here because they have great potential as a player and as a person. For him, his skill set is so broad, he can run the ball. And for his size, you look at him, he's not the biggest of guys, but he plays big. He can play in space and he can play in tight spaces. You will see this will be one of the guys in the future that we will attempt to use his skills both in the backfield and as a wide receiver, punt returner, a kick returner, and considering the largeness of the skill set, maybe some other, I'm not giving them all away, but that kid's got a lot of potential. Comes from a great family. He loves the game of football. But this would be near and dear to everybody's heart. As we all sit in this town, in this bar, he loves this school. This is the only kid I've ever seen who came on his official visit, and he's getting recruited by everybody in the country. This is a national recruit who walks in on his official visit with black and gold shoes, black pants, gold shirt, and a Towson hat. Now, it's not like they're, well, yeah, I know, Steve, you got lots of those, except you're not a recruit. This kid's already 17 years old. He loves this place. People would go to his school. He's like, nah, don't worry about it. I'm going to Towson. Didn't matter who called. I'm going to Towson. And that, if we look at this and look at the talent, all the players on the board, and for the football heads in the room, this probably means more than anything else. Every single guy that we talked about tonight did not end up here. He chose this individual educational experience over every single other school he got recruited by. There are Ivy League schools. There are big-time, top 25 schools recruiting this kid, and they chose Towson. This is a new day in this town.
One last thing. When you recruit a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, whatever, how much does that help recruiting other guys where they get, sort of the word of mouth gets out that they kind of recruit for you as well?
Well, JPD was one of those guys. He was recruiting for us long before he even committed. In reference to what I think, every single guy on that board is a 5-star. And I got a little bit of football experience, more than just, no offense, writing about it. So I don't, how does it work? The stars don't matter. In today's social media, every all-star, every all-conference kid, they go to camps. They go to 7-on-7s. They go to team camps. But they all know each other. And when they find a school that they love, they are sure as hell not shy about it. So they talk to each other. You look at some of these dudes, Lyrics Klug and Justice Pettis-Dixon have been talking. The two of them act like they've lined up and taken 250 snaps already at Towson. That is the new future. Social media gets that done. And when you're doing it the right way and you find family members that want to be a part of this, they start selling it for you. They are our best ambassadors. I'm looking at two of our former ones, in Arnold Farmer, and I'm not going to call you Pierre. I'm just not doing it. Yeah, I'm making fun of you, Mr. Anthony Davis, both of our two former players. Jason Mayer, you still in the room? Don't be hiding, selling something. Okay, these guys are out there preaching the gospel of what this place is because they graduated. You know life is changing and things are getting better when guys that haven't even taken a snap are out there preaching the gospel. Stan the Fin.
Rob, we've had a recent spate over the last couple of days from the Ravens player Cody with the animal cruelty to Deshelle Jackson in Washington punching out a pizza delivery man to another running back being investigated at a hotel for domestic situation and arrested for marijuana. Okay, I was young once too. But the question is, how important do you guys vet these players with character? And is that something that's going on more and more at the college level, trying to root out some bad apples?
Stan asked a really good question and then quantified it by, I was young too. How much of that stuff did you do when you were young, Stan? Those who have been around long enough understand that the way we recruit, one, you got to be a really good football player. That your talent has to be such that you can help us win ball games, and really the goal is that your potential is a little bit better than the guys that we already have. That's the goal. Two, we have to want people, we have to get people and find kids that want a college degree. They want this more than anything than life itself. And every single guy on that board believes that they know in their heart of hearts that the snaps that they get are limited, but the degree lasts forever. They all get this. The third part, and what is probably the most important these days, is character. That I tell the parents and the kids that I do not want them representing this institution on ESPN.com for the wrong reasons. That they are responsible to things greater than themselves every single day. Now, if you took some of those instances of which you mentioned and you put them in the general public, nobody cares that Joe Schmo, the supermarket guy, did any of that. And the guy that sells fish at the fish store does it. Nobody cares about him either. So these guys understand that they are under a microscope. We are not, do we vet them? Oh my God, do we vet them? We say no to thousands before we say yes to 18. And we still don't get it right. As you've all heard me say tonight, because between 18 and 22, we all make the best decisions we've ever made in our life. But we do our best to find the ones that will represent this institution. And truth, I'll take a little credit for this because this isn't my job. This is my school. This is my town. This is my state. And I don't want them screwing it up. So, you know, kids are going to make mistakes. We try to educate, mentor, and do the best for them. It's not, if you make one mistake, that's one thing. If you make the same mistake again, that's not a mistake. It's a decision. And we talk about this time and time again. We do our best to make sure that the young guys that you saw on the screen are going to represent this institution well today. They're going to do it while they're here. And almost more importantly, they're going to do it after they graduate. They're going to wave the banner like these two young men did. They have been to a national championship. They have been to a playoff game. They have won conference titles, and they have gotten a great degree with a decent GPA, and they have gotten advancement in their professional field already, which is I'm the most proud of, okay? And they've done it the right way. All those guys on TV can take their bags of money. We're going to beat them, and we're going to beat them with the right guys doing it the right way over and over again. Thank you, Stan.
All right, that is going to wrap up our broadcast on TowsonTigers.com. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and being with us on the Towson Sports Network. Before we go, I want to give one last thank you to the folks here at Charles Village Pub. What an unbelievable atmosphere. And if you are watching at home online tonight, make sure that you get here to Towson for Signing Day Live 2016 because this has been a heck of a lot of fun. Also, Coach Ambrose and his staff were kind enough to let us follow him around for hours on end this morning with a camera. We got to see everything that goes in behind the scenes at signing day, and we've got a great video. You can check that out right now on TowsonTigers.com. Coach, any final thoughts before we say goodnight?
Just want to say thanks, everybody, for coming. And this is not Towson football's recruiting day. This is Towson's day. You guys sit there and look at each other. This is not about the football team. You guys like where the football team is gone. Each and every one of you are responsible for how we have grown. What you do in the stadium, what you do in the town, it is our town, it is our team, it is your team. Make sure you are investing in our future. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks again to Coach Rob Ambrose and his staff, Coach Greg Paynter, women's soccer, and his staff. On behalf of all of us at TowsonTigers.com and the Towson Sports Network, this is Kevin Cobb. Thank you so much for being here. Good night, everybody.